Hello everyone, let's wait for some minutes until everyone joins us and then we will start. We'll start in 2 minutes. Okay, we can start. Hello everyone, welcome to our second session, and today we're going to start talking about Java. And before we start, I just want to clarify: does anyone have issues with Discord or not? Is everything clear for everyone in Discord? Because it's very important, because we'll use Discord as our main platform for conversation, and it is really important that everyone is able to deal with Discord. Hope that it's fine for everyone since you joined the meeting today. So you received the link to the session. That means that it's fine. If everyone has the usage problems with the usage of Discord, please let me know. And just also about the process of our sessions. In case you have any questions, I mean, if I'm talking about something and you want to clarify something, you want to ask something, then I think that Discord will be the best place to ask. I will check all the questions, and just to have like the queue of the questions, we can use Discord for all the questions. So in case you have any questions about the topic I'm currently talking about, then you can ask the questions in Discord. About also about the experience with the first assignment. I see that there were some questions in Discord. It's really good. So you have started to work actively here. It's fine. Also, if sometimes you are a little bit maybe shy, or you don't want others to read your questions, you can also write privately to me in Discord. That's also fine. But in case there's kind of question which you think that it may be interesting for everyone, then you can write it in the general chat. But yeah, we will work with Discord during our course. Alright, so if there are any questions about Discord, please let me know. I hope that it's clear for now, and we can start we can go through the assignment. Hope that everyone or almost everyone managed to start doing all these activities and done already the setup here. Just maybe if someone has any issues, don't worry. Maybe from my point of view, maybe this is the trickiest part, since everyone has different computer, so there are different setups, and for some of you it may be more tricky to set up Java or do any other setup. It's absolutely fine. The setup may be a little bit complicated in some cases, so don't worry if you had any issues. And today we will just go through again through the setup, and then we will start working with Eclipse. We'll show you some most important features in Eclipse and the setup which you should always have a look on. So yeah, about the setup of Java, I hope that this one was almost clear. You had to download Java, then setup, and it should appear on your computer, like in my case. Some program files, Java, and here I also had a previous version of Java 14, and now I downloaded Java 15. So that was the first step. Also I downloaded, to be honest, I don't remember if I had to download it separately or it was downloaded automatically. I think I downloaded it separately. It's Java Runtime environment, which is also located on my computer, and to set up the path to Java on the computer, we set up the system variable. Then just maybe a little bit slower for those who couldn't catch me here. Here I just search for system environment variables. I click on it, then I see the options of system properties. I go to, so I'm already on advanced section. On bottom I see environment variables, and here I see, maybe a little bit, just we may ask what the environment variables mean for the computer and why do we need them. It's not only for Java, it's they are used for I think too many different programs and tools on your computer. Like if you have OneDrive, I also have some setup of OneDrive, some setup of temporary files. This is for the systems. This is for the system, and here you can see the system variables. And like for Java, we set up Java Home. So here we provide the path to our Java folder on the computer. Maybe some other examples. Maybe Maven we will talk about. I'm not sure if we'll talk about Maven in this course. I think maybe not, but Maven is also related to Java. It's related to Java. We will talk about maybe we will talk about, but I think I will mention about Maven, but a little bit later. But this is also used for Java. Maven is also needed for Java. This is tool needed for some Java libraries, to download Java libraries. So we also have Maven. You don't need to install it at the moment. Just for your information that this is used. What else do I have here? Also, I have some different programs on my computer, different tools, like some file extensions, BAT, also needed for some tools on my computer. So in case you work with command line and you use command line to execute some different commands, especially if the commands not the commands, but the programs, the tools you download from the internet, and you use them on command line. And here, if you type cmp command line, and here if you use some different tools, different commands, sometimes if this is external command you download from the internet or somewhere else, then you may need to do some setup here. That's just for information. It's at the moment it's not really important for you. It's just for you to know what this environment variables mean for your computer. Yeah. So if we have path, there are also some paths needed for some tools, some programs. Like PHP, also to be recognized by your computer, the path of PHP location from where we can execute PHP, it also needs to be applied here. Just as an example, Python and some different things, and of course for Java as well. Use it. Alright, this is about system variables. In case you have any questions in mind, please let me know. Type the questions in Discord as well. Yeah, this is about system variables. And the first task was to download Java. You can use this link. You can use Google search to search for some Java files and Java installation. From here you need basically need to download Java. Some of you had the issues with Oracle website. In some cases, but I think it always requires you to be logged in. And I think I know that I have an account in Oracle, but I'm not sure. I think no, I'm not. I have an account, but I'm not logged in. So sometimes if you download something from Oracle, you may have the issues. Let me check. But I think there was an option. How can we? How can we skip this? Sign in. As you can see now, I'm not signed in. I see the question from there's the question from Lime about Eclipse. We'll talk about some Eclipse issues when we start developing on Excel or on Eclipse. Then we will talk about some issues. If you have any issues with Eclipse, then please be patient a little bit. We will talk about when we start working in Eclipse. For here, I think if you press on JDK download and you go down, I think if you download it from here and you accept that you were used, I think you should be able to start downloading here. So I think that even without the logging in, you should be able to download from Eclipse as well. So cancel it, install it. But in case you still have any issues here, then with the logging in, then you can try some different links. Also Java homepage. If we search for Java-13, download, and then you can go to jdk.java.net. You'll also find some useful stuff here, or Java.com I think from Java commit you can always download something what can be found on Oracle website. So that's about installing of Java. And yeah, the next step was to install your integrated development environment. As I said, we will use Eclipse. If you want to use IntelliJ, that should also be fine for you. I think I have IntelliJ installed on my computer as well. Visual Studio definitely I have. Let me check. So IntelliJ, maybe just we'll go to the Eclipse maybe at last, because first we let me show other tools and then we can go to our main tool, which will be Eclipse here. So this is how IntelliJ looks like. Some of you may think that it's maybe a better choice than Eclipse. I can agree with you in this case. In some cases it's much easier to work with IntelliJ. It's like it looks a little bit more modern, more fashion like it. But yeah, that's really good environment, and you can open some Java code from here. I have just, don't worry, I already have the project here, and just open some files. So here you can see the code. You can also do some setups. So yeah, that's really nice feature also in just maybe to not forget to tell you about in like I think in all the development environments, you will see that you have the terminal, or it may be called terminal, it may be called console. So it's basically it's the same as CMD. So if we open command line, then and we change the directory to this one, you can see that it's absolutely the same tool, the same console, and you can use this console in the same way as it can be done in command line. So in case for some developments you will need to use console, and it's easy. It's much more easier to use it from your development environment than to open the command line from Windows or its terminal in Mac, and so on different systems. And another advantage is just the most thing I hate in command line, just in standard command line, that I always start from just constant place, C users, my name, my user, and to switch to the environment I'm currently in, I need to just go to some paths. So now I have this path here, but in general I will need to search for this path and copy it, paste it here, and then change directory. If you usually work with command line, that may be a little bit disturbing. If you need to change directory for so many times, like if you close, open, close, you don't actually want every time to change the path. But if you work from console or from your development environment, then the path is always the path of the current directory, this one. So it's easy to to work with console, and it's in almost common. I think in all development environments you will see this terminal or console available. Also the Visual Studio Code I also have it here. It looks maybe a little bit differently, not just because I have different background here, but maybe I will just open it. So yeah, it is the code for PHP. You won't sure if you understand this, but it doesn't matter at the moment. Yeah, basically this is how it looks. It's not Java, don't worry, it's not Java, it's just some internal stuff, but this is how it looks like. It's also quite similar. You can also have terminal here, and another advantage for just some advantages of development environments, if it doesn't matter if it's Eclipse, Visual Studio, IntelliJ, PHP Storm, or just whatever it is, you may have, not you may have, but you will definitely have an option to program in different programming languages, if it's PHP or Java or C++, C, Python, and so on and so on. Then you can use these environments for all the, maybe not all, but for most of the programming languages. So you can work with different files like XML, JSON. We'll talk about them a little bit later, but development environments are very useful, and they have lots of features. We'll work with Eclipse, but please note that the features available in Eclipse are also available in other development environments. Maybe they will look differently a little bit, but in general all of them will be available. So this is about Visual Studio. In case you want to work with Visual Studio, you're welcome. You can also do it. Yeah. So this is about integrated environments. So here you can see the link. Records maybe also. So if you go to the Records homepage, also please note that especially Eclipse has different versions. Like current version is available from September this year. So in some cases you may need to, not in our case it's fine if we use the latest version of Java, but maybe in some developments you will need to have maybe older version or the exact version used in the particular project. So that's this is the version is also the thing you should check which version you need in some cases. In our case it's fine, we can use every version we want. And if we go here, just open it this way, so you can maybe if I go here, you can see that there are some different versions available here. Older versions, we just use the most relevant one, and this is September. Also you can see that there's the version 12, but we just use the most relevant one. It's, as you can see, that was not recommended in the beginning, because to be honest, I'm not 100% sure why, but the reason may be that this version is not fully ready yet. And that's why we use the version advised by Eclipse, and this is 09. And here you can also see there are some different versions of Eclipse available. For our course, it's enough if we have this one, the first one, Eclipse IDE for Java developers. That should be enough for us. In case you want some additional features, as you can see here, like web services, if you develop some web applications on Java, then you will need to have this one. Yeah, it's fine if you downloaded this one. It's also for free, and all the features available here will be available here as well. But this is more advanced. Yeah, if you have, as you can see, server pages needed. These pages are needed for web development, for web applications, and in case we need to develop some web applications, then we need to have this version. But now we can have this version. I already have installed it. I hope you downloaded it as well. For those who hasn't, please do it. Or if you downloaded IntelliJ or Visual Studio Code, that's also fine. So yeah, now you installed, and now we can start working with Eclipse. I have it here. You can see I don't have the latest version. I have the version from June. That should be fine. So don't worry if you don't have the latest version. So right now that should not be the issue for us. Okay, currently my Eclipse is loading. Let's wait a little bit once it is loaded. It's almost there. Currently I have, and here it is. So this is the Eclipse, and currently maybe just to be more realistic, one moment, let me go. I currently already have the workspace. Maybe just to start from the beginning, I just deleted the workspace, and so we can start from zero. Yeah. Just a moment. So Eclipse is loading again. It's only on a different screen, so don't worry. For Unit, I see. Just sent the incompatible Java virtual machine. That's a good question. What I can suggest you is to, if we open file location, and that's the place where the Eclipse is installed. Here, if you go to Eclipse Ini, then you can change the. First of all, you can add maybe I will just copy my stuff from here. You don't need to just paste it. So you may just take some notes from here. You can change the required version to maybe a little bit older, and also you may need you can change the required version to maybe to add this one as well. In two places where you pass required versions. So this may be needed, and yeah, now you can see that I could environment on Mac. I sent the link last time. I will send it again. A moment. Set on Mac. Yeah, a moment. I'll send you the link. How to do it on Mac. I'll just share the link with you. So this is for Mac. How to do it on Macintosh. Yeah, so maybe I already have the workspace. So just if I start from the beginning. So yeah, just let me delete. Okay, I cannot delete it because I already it here, but yeah, in general you can find the place where you where to place your workspace, and maybe create new workspace for our course here. And so this is the folder. Yeah, you create the folder, select this folder, and this folder will be the workplace of your Eclipse. That should, because it's kind of similar. Also, you need to find workspace, and once you set up the workspace, please note that this folder, in my case, it is here. Yeah. In my case, it's here. This folder will be the folder where all the files, all the projects, all the classes, yeah, will be stored. Yeah. So everything what we develop here will be located here. Yeah. So please note that this is our general folder where everything will be stored. Yeah. And yeah, so this is Eclipse, as you may already this is our general environment. For those who haven't seen Eclipse before, this is how it looks. Maybe call some things we won't need. And yeah, just the first useful not feature, but the button for you is on the right side. This is the layout of the views. And in case you have something, let me check, something broken here, like you call something, maybe you missed something. So if you press on Java, you'll get all the views you need for Java backend. So this is in case you just accidentally accidentally switched your layout to different one, just mixed some, and you want to go back to Java layout, you can use this button. Yes, so this is how the Eclipse looks like. On the left side, most of the website will have package explorer. Also there is the we'll go that a little bit later. What you can do in Eclipse, some must-have places. First one is window. You go to window, you go to show view, and from here you can find all the views available. So just this is the view, package explorer. Then the problems, that's the view again, Java doc, decoration, and so on and so on. Everything is view here, yeah. And if you go to again window, show view, here you will find all the views. At first you will find all the main views, yeah. The main views maybe and error log. Here we'll see some errors. Here is this one. We don't need it at the moment. First of all, you should take a look on problems. If you don't have any problems, that should be fine. Yeah, so in case you want to add any views, you can workspace folder. Yeah, question from one: how to create workspace folders? This is just a simple folder. Yeah, so you can create it the same way as you create all the folders. Yeah. So if you create a folder, this folder may be used for workspace. Yeah. Another workspace and if you select this folder from Eclipse as your workspace, this will be used as your workspace. You just simply need to create a folder, and that's it. There is no specific magic button to create workspace. Just create a simple folder, and you can use this folder as your workspace. Yeah. Okay, so this is about it, and maybe let's go back to views. So again, really important: window, show view, and from here you can find every view you want. Also, Project Explorer will also be useful for us. What else we can add at the moment? I will definitely use. We can use console again. From here, this is not the console. Then this is not the terminal. It's not the same as CMD. Yeah. There's different console. From here, we'll see the output of our Java programs. Yeah. So console is really important for us. We will see all the outputs of our Java code here, and we can also have input. Yeah. We will talk about input outputs and all the inputs and outputs will be done here under the console window, console view. Okay. What else is important for us? Maybe nothing more at the moment, but in case, yeah, and also I haven't shown to yet, but if you haven't found the view you are looking for here, you go to other, and from here you can see there are lots of different folders here, and you can use the search. Yeah, and for example, I want to search for debug. I search for debug, and you can see debug view. I select it from here, and I can see the debug here. Yeah, so this is really important place. Please remember how to go here. If you forget, please let me know. I will assist you. yeah, this is about views. Then what else? In help you can find Eclipse Marketplace. We will use it, I think, only once. We will need to download some tools from here, but this is actually the place where you can find the main tools for Eclipse. Which tools you may need from here we will talk about it later, but in case you want to find some useful tools, you can download them from Eclipse Marketplace. Install new software. I'm not sure if we will use it, but sometimes it's also needed for some new software, for some connections. Maybe especially if you work with some external system, not external, but some specific systems. If it's SAP or something like that, you to connect to some systems, to connect to some systems and clients, you will need to install this. But I'm not sure if we will use for our goals. I think we will not do this. And what else do we have? You could donate if you want for Eclipse. What else? In Windows you have preferences, and this is also a really important place because in the preferences, just those who haven't got me, got Windows preferences, and from here you have the main installations. Not installation, but the main properties, the main setup of our Eclipse workspace. And this is an important place. All the setups may be done from here. At the moment we are talking about yesterday with some girls, not sure was Willie, I guess, and Lima. So here you have some specific setups of Java. You can go here and see what we have in build paths, and check class paths variables. We'll talk about class paths a little bit later. It's also important about user libraries. At the moment I have no libraries here. Let's see if I need to add them separately. We will in case we have some problems we will do some setup here, but for now let's maybe go to start coding. But in case you want to set up something, also fonts also can be changed here. Not sure for font style, but maybe we'll not go deep to this this setup. In case you want to change something, you need to change something, then you can search for text editor. You can change some colors. Basically, all the setups can be done from here. Alright, what else do we have here? I think that this is also important project, clean.automatic. We will talk about it a little bit later. Navigate, and from file you can open the file or create new project. You can import the projects. Properties will be used for the projects. But this is about the main the base of the Eclipse, and now we will start with the coding. I see Willie is typing. So let's see what William is typing. And in case you have any questions, please let me know. So far, we'll start with the coding right now. Okay, William is typing. So do it. This one, and from here it's we're asked to create the first project. We can create our hello in my first job. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the question cannot be desktop result to smaller one. Okay. Yeah, maybe. I think that the previous course also had asked me to change the font. Don't worry, we will. Yeah, maybe if we have something here, don't worry, we will not really do a lot of stuff here. Okay, maybe I will change the resolution in a moment. Because the idea is that when we code, I will change the font to a bigger one, so you will be able to see. But also, I can zoom this by a little bit. Change it. Okay, maybe we can have, as I said, we'll have breaks now, so I think it's time for break. During the break I will change the resolution of the desktop, but for now let's have 10 minutes break, and we'll meet in 10 minutes. Okay, we can continue. Unfortunately, I cannot change the screen resolution today at the moment because I'm currently streaming the screen and the computer does not allow me to do any changes with the resolution, but I changed some fonts during the break, so at least the fonts are bigger now. I hope it's better for fonts and for the fonts right now. There was a question from us. Default location, you mean the workspace, yeah? The workspace can be changed if you go to File, then switch workspace, and then you select Others, and from here you can change the workplace. Then File, switch workspace. Okay, so that's clear. And now we can create our first Java project. You can see there's the option here. You can go to new. That's the same. Yeah. New Java project. As it was mentioned here, it needs to be named as the first project. About some naming convention, so maybe a little bit later. But please know that this naming convention can be used. And in case you want to separate some words, you can use you can separate them using uppercase letters. Yeah. So we'll talk about naming conventions, and in programming, I haven't told you, but in programming namings are very important in every language, in every programming language, everywhere in the programming. It's really important to use the right naming convention. Right namings and please note that in different programming languages, in different projects, in different environments, this naming may be different. Maybe, but it will definitely be different. So if you join new programming language, if you join new project, please find out what are the naming conventions used in this particular project. In programming, it's very important, and it's very strict. It's like not then you cannot use different. You can use different, but please note that you should stick with the approach used by another developers. And there are some laws, let's call them like that in Java. What kind of naming conventions need to be used? Like you're definitely not allowed to type something like this. Just random numbers. The program name needs to be understandable for everyone. And here, there was the question which Java Runtime environment to use. You have different options here. By default you have this one, and maybe that's fine. If you select, I will use default one. That's mine one. I'm not sure why Java-13 is not available from here, but let's check. So I selected my JDK. You can use older versions of Java as well. But I will use the latest one. And please note, if you select older version, then you may see some warnings that you have some differences between the version of your project and the Java version setup here. Like we'll talk about the imports of the projects, we'll talk about version control. So there's such possibility that if you go a little bit ahead, you may need to import the project from somewhere. And please check which version of the project you import. If you import a different version than you have in your computer, then you may have some warnings or even some errors. So please be careful with Java versions. At the moment, if we just like here, we do everything from the beginning, then we can set up our own version. So for now I use the latest one. Here I have some setup, so we'll talk about this setup. This is really important. Setup, maybe not at the beginning. At the beginning, you can just use the default one, that should be correct everywhere. But this is really important setup. I will show you what we can do with this, but not from here. From here it's fine. We can use the default one. That's in all the cases that should be correct. What we can see here. We'll talk about the setup. We'll definitely talk now because it's very important. We don't need this module info. Folder, that's really fine. And now we have our first project. We can also check it in project explorer. There should be no major difference here. Okay, maybe I just that's maybe fine. I'm sorry that this font is maybe a little bit small for you, but don't worry, when we have the code, the code will be just huge letters. So what do we have here? Here we have system libraries. System library. What is system library? We will talk a little bit later. But the actual code will be located under source folder. So from here we can see the source of our project, and are there any requirements about the package? A moment, I check the assignment you had. No, there's no requirements about the project. Project about the package. So yeah, we'll talk about the packages a little bit later. But for now, we can start with Java class. We create Java class, and what was the name of the class to be written? And it's my first class. My first class. Okay, just maybe if I'm a little bit fast, then right click and source folder, select new, and from new you select class. We will talk about the classes a little bit later again, don't worry. Now we just start with basics, with the most simple one, and at the moment some things may not be understandable for you. Don't worry, that's fine. We'll go through all these things during the course. Just maybe to start coding, again we need to create project, Java project. We need to have Java system library, which will automatically be added here, and from here we can press new. Just don't press new somewhere here. We should have files under the source, Java files under source folder. In addition, just maybe before we start, we can also have some any files we want. Like maybe we will need to use some different files, and just maybe let me select a random file from my computer. Downloads. 20-second. Here we can also add some files from somewhere, and here we can see that these files may also be available in this folder. Yeah. So just simply copy the file to this folder and just drag and drop again. If we need, you may need this future, and you have some files here, then just drag and drop to the project, and here you can see this file. Maybe let's keep it at the moment, and also let me show one thing. Here we, again, as you remember, here we have our workspace. Yeah, this is the workspace, this one, Java-13, and here it is, the folder with the project. Yeah? So we created our project, and here's our folder. So everything from this project will be located in this folder, this one, first program, and here's this folder. So this is the folder. It's just a physical folder, like every folder on your computer, with different files, different setups. And here you can see some files. Maybe you at the moment you don't really know what these files mean. We'll not go deep with these files, but these files are related to the setup of this project. Yeah. We'll talk about some setups for this project, because the setup is really important. Especially in Eclipse. In my previous course, some girls had the problems with the setup of the project. That's why I assume that this maybe a little bit tricky, so we will just at the beginning we'll talk a little bit about it. So that should be easy for you a little bit later. And as you can see, also the file of links PNG file is also here. That's just the same file as you can see here. We don't need it at the moment. So I just shown this example for you, not example, but this thing for you to understand that we can drag and drop every file you want. In some tasks we will need the files here, just to make an easy access to them. And now I can create my first class. So we create class, and what was the name required for the class? My first class, my first class. You can see that we have the warning of that the package is discouraged. Don't worry, that's fine. That was why I was looking if we need if it is required in this assignment to create the package. We'll talk about the packages a little bit later, but for now we can skip the package and use the default one. By default, it will use default package. And let's start from the beginning. So I just put my name of my class. I press finish, and here I have the class, and here I have my Java code. Just maybe a small remark, small question: is this font fine for you? You need maybe a little bit bigger. Just a question from Willie about the resolution. Is the font here fine for you? I can create it a little bit bigger if needed, so please let me know. If it's fine, then we can start working. And it is mentioned that we need to create our first first method. So it's main, and we can write it manually, but we can use control space. So really important thing to use in Eclipse and in all the programming languages you may be working with is control space, and this is the best combination of keys you may use in programming. Control space in all the programming languages. This is the king of programming. Control space. Why? Because if you press control space, you can see all the things you may type. So if you use control space, you may see all the options you can select. If I select this option, this will create the constructor. We'll talk about the constructors a little bit later. Just to show again, control plus space. This the combination you should definitely remember. Control plus space. You will definitely need to use it. In Mac? That's a good question. I think command space should be in Mac as well. In Windows, that's control space, and now let's see. No. Okay. For Mac, as I remember, there was control plus space in Mac. On Mac. Moment. Or maybe control space as well. Try to use control space in that. Control plus space maybe. Maybe that's control space. Moment. Control space does not work as well. That's a good question. As I remember, when I worked on Macintosh, command space focus on moment. I will just quickly Google it. Yeah, as I remember, control space works as well on Mac. Because command space, command space. I think that was the language change in Mac. But I think control space. At least this is. This is. Eclipse. In Eclipse, if we go to Window Preferences, in general, keys. This one, and from here I think you can find. Again, as you remember, Window Preferences, General, Keys, and control space, content. That's called content assist. So please, for those who work in Eclipse, please, I think in IntelliJ or Visual Code, it should be the same place. And from here, please navigate to Content Assistant command. I'm checking for IntelliJ. I think that should be somewhere from the same place. So please check from here. And this is Content Assistant. It's in IntelliJ, I think there should be a similar path. I don't remember, but there should be similar path. But for those who use Eclipse, preferences, general keys, command, and on the binding you can check the combination to be used for Content Assistant. And maybe I will just move on. I will send you the screenshot, and from here, if you want, you can change this combination by input. Okay, so let's move on. Control space, and as we can see, we need to create our first main method. By default, it's public static void main string arguments. And here we can type main, and you can see main method. That's the pattern we can use. So we selected main method, command space. So we selected this main method, and it's already here, and we just need to print. So again, we can use control space. We start typing system. We can already see that's on the first choice. We select it. Then we can see other selections. We can use out. Instance print. Print line means that we want to print a line. Means that we want to print line. And this last in line. First Java program. Yeah, and one more thing also really important. As I said, in the programming, naming is really important. And also another important thing is how your code looks like. And it's so called in different environments, in different languages, it is called differently. Beautifier, pretty printer, prettify, pretty, and so on, such all these terms to use, and it means that the code should look understand. So if we write it this way, for those who use again Windows, you can use Ctrl-Shift-F, and the code is automatically formatted. So if we just randomly format it as we want, like something like this, have some mess here. If we press Ctrl-Shift-F, I think in Mac it should be again Command-Shift-F, and this should work for Mac, at least in my experience working with Mac it works. So we just have some mess here. We press Ctrl-Shift-F, and the code is looks great. Another command, Ctrl+Shift+F. So also this is also very useful. Yeah. Before you finish your coding, please tag this one, because again I think you understand why it is much more easy to read this code than to read something like this. Yeah. Just have some mess here, something like this. So I hope you understand why this is this is not fine and this is fine, because here we have the right format and we can understand and we can easily read the code. It looks good, looks fine, and it looks readable. And I see Anastasia is typing something, so let's check. So these commands are very important when you use. Yeah, this control space very useful, and command Shift F is very useful for formatting. In IntelliJ there's also such command. I don't remember which one. Quickly Google it, check it in IntelliJ. That should be visible either way. It should be easily found. You can share with us with some tips and tricks with useful information for Eclipse. Basically, to be honest, these are Ctrl-Space and Ctrl-Shift+F. These are maybe all the commands, not all the commands, but almost all the main shortcuts I use. Yeah, I'm not maybe such fashionable programmer who likes all this new stuff and shortcuts. I use, again, as I said, I use Ctrl-Space and Ctrl-Shift. Ctrl-Shift-F. About other tricks, I cannot really quickly remember about some other tricks, but we will go through them definitely if we face some of them. So just maybe I prefer to go one by one, and this is the base. Yeah, the base is Ctrl-Space. Yeah, help tips and tricks. You can check for them. Starting with Ctrl-Space, obviously. That's the base. Yeah. If you want, you can found. Again, as I said, I'm not really familiar with all the tricks, with all the shortcuts. Why? Because I don't like to memorize them. I just know some basic things I usually use, like again, maybe just quickly what I quickly can remember. It's Control Space, Control Shift plus F, Control S to save. Yeah, maybe. Oh yeah, maybe Control S. I think all of you used. Maybe all of you or most of you usually use Control S. That's also really important. Control to save your program, like after every change. For the programmers, it's really important. It's really important because just imagine that maybe your electricity is down, your computer will be down in 1 minute, and you just want everything to be up to date. Once your computer is back, just maybe the Eclipse may freeze or may crash or may something like that, and to not lose the development done, please always press Control Space, Control S, yeah. Or in other words, means save. Yeah. Save your development, because that's really important to be up to date. And just maybe for those of you who are familiar with some programmer memes, some programmer jokes, then this is one of the most annoying things for programmer is that programmer wrote 700 of lines of code, then forgot to save it, and everything is freezed. The Eclipse or the environment is crashed, and everything is lost. So to not lose the development you're working with, please know that your computer may have some issues in like in a minute and seconds, in theory, of course. Then to not lose nothing, keep everything up to date, press Control S. Okay. So these are the commands I usually use. Again, Control Space to call the assistant, then Control Shift F to format the code, and Control Space to save everything, Control Z to restore the changes. If I type something, I press Control Z, everything is back before the changes. Like if I press Control Z and press Control Y, so the changes I just reverted go back. So basically, Control F to find something, also really used, and Control R, I think that's the same as Control F. Control F to find the place with. What else? To be honest, at the moment I don't remember if I usually use some additional features. Yeah, tips and tricks are very useful. It may speed up your process, but for me, maybe I'm not the person who likes to memorize all these commands, all these shortcuts. I just have the ones I definitely must need. I definitely need, and I use them. So this is a short description about the commands, and for now the program is ready. Let's see if I don't have any issues with the building. No, I don't have. I have the output in console. So again, right click on your class, run as, and here you can see you have Java application, run as, and just run, and here I have the output. So this is the output of my program. Yeah, what are the important things here? You have, so maybe just the first hook on the code. Yeah, as you can see, we created the class. In Java, everything maybe first let's just say that everything is located in the classes here. But the main stuff is located in classes. And the classes, you may have the classes, many classes inside your file. And again, if we type some class, we can create new class in the same file. But in all the Java files, you need to have public class. So we start with the public class. If we create new class, we'll also have the public class inside your code. And really important is, it's public class, the class name, and the name should be the same as the name here. You cannot type something like this. You will have the error because the name of the file is not the same as the public class name. So you should have the same class name as you have here under the public class. If you type class, you may have whatever you want, like my first class 2. From here it's absolutely fine if you have different class. But in every file you have one public class. You cannot create another public class. And that's the error, that's the issue. You can have only one public class inside every file. So this is the file, just need to make more stable. If we go here, source, here is this file. So this is the file, this is the actual file with the text inside, and here there's our code. This is useful if you just have if you want to copy paste something like many classes, many files, you can paste them here, and you'll see them here as well on Eclipse. So hope this is clear. Public class, name of the class should be the same as the name of the class provided on the name. Then you have, in theory, this is also the valid program. Like if you have nothing inside, that's also a valid program, but of course you cannot do something here. So inside the class we have the code, and everything, every Java program starts with the main method. And the main method needs to be defined in strictly this way: public static void main, then you have string, you have these brackets. We'll talk about this brackets a little bit later, and the argument. So everything starts with main. If you don't have main method, we cannot run this class because we have nothing to run. We have main, we have something to run. If you have different pattern, like just main2, that will not allow us to run again. So Anastasia, really good question. What args means? We'll now talk a little bit about it. Just for now, you should understand that you should strictly have this pattern. Public static void. You cannot replace something here. This will not work. Only public static void name. If we remove arguments, let's see. I think that it should be visible. No, it's not visible. It's not visible here as well. So strict pattern from the beginning to the end. And this is the method. If we talk about voids, voids are the methods. We'll talk about object-oriented programming a little bit later, but this is this is the start. Yeah, just for you to understand, to start the program, we need to have this main method. And just maybe if we go a little bit ahead, don't worry that you will not understand what I type here. Don't worry, we'll talk about all these details a little bit later. I just static display. Don't worry. And if I move the code to here, and I call the display method from here, I use Ctrl Shift F, so I run this program and I have the same output. The idea is that I have, as you can see, my code is located in different method, in different void. Not main void, but it is called from here. So we may have this static void main as our starting point. So this is the starting point for our program, and then we can call every stuff we want from here. And yeah, so this is the starting point. From here we can do everything. Everything we can do. We can call different methods, different classes, different stuff, and so on and so on. Just for you to understand, this is the starting point. And from here we can call everything. And yeah, there's a nice question from Anastasia, what argument means. Arguments, this in every method you may have the arguments. Like in this case we don't have any arguments to be passed to this method. I just created so this is another method but with different pattern. It's private. I will talk about the difference between public, protected and private. At the moment I use private, so we'll talk about it a little bit later, but it's still static void. So this can be yes, we'll talk about it, and this will be related to that's what really just asked. This is related to Java build path, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Just this will be our next topic today. Yeah. For here, I hope that's clear. Public static void main, that's the starting point. About the arguments, that's a good question. Every method you create, we'll talk about what the method means. Yeah, I mean, what's the meaning of the methods, what's the properties. We will talk about all these topics. But the arguments, you can pass the arguments to the methods, and this is also the part of the pattern for our starting program. These are the arguments passed to our program. Just for example, if I hope now you understand that this is don't worry, we will have different types of logic a little bit later. So don't worry if you don't understand the syntax. So this basically means that this is the array. We'll talk about arrays a little bit later, but I just maybe if you have some understanding about the arrays, I just take the first argument of the array. Don't worry, we'll talk about arrays a little bit later. I just want to show the purpose of this parameter. And if we go to run as, but we select the option run configurations. We select the option run configuration, and here you can see the section arguments. And here I can provide the argument to the program. So if I select the argument, I hope that's correct. And you can see that this argument is passed to the program, and it is located here. Yeah. Just maybe small introduction, not introduction, small remark to arrays. Arrays, that's the list of the variables. Like if we start from 0, a list of values. So we can have like. So if we already started talking about the arrays, so maybe we'll have a deeper discussion with it a bit later. But for now, just so the array is the place. Yeah, that's the place. That's one variable. So this is the variable. This is array, and you have different values located inside this array. So you may have 1, 2, 3. So this is the 0, 1, and so on and so on. You may have as many arguments as you, not arguments, as many values in the array as you want. And what I did here, so this is the array, first position of the array, second position of the array, and so on. So what I did here, I passed run configurations, I passed the first argument. So in this case, this is the first position of the array, this one. So I just passed parameter here. If I pass another parameter using the space and this second argument, and maybe I have not. If we run, we will not have different result because I haven't called the second argument. But from here, if I access to the second argument, which is indexed with 1, I can run it now, and I can see that I have the second argument passed to this. So this is if we call this as the starting point, starting method of the program, then these are the starting arguments to our program. Where it can be used, as an example, if we passed, so we can have some simple mathematical operation. Just that may be a little bit complicated for you, don't worry. We'll talk about it a little bit later. So maybe I'm really sorry if you don't understand this, but we'll talk about it. You should not be able to. That's not mandatory to understand what happens here. So I just have 2 arguments passed, and I have a mathematical operation. I just add one number to another number. So, that's exception. Don't worry. So we have incorrect arguments. So if I passed like 3 and 4, the result I should have 7. So I passed the first argument, I passed the second argument, I sum them, and now I have the sum. So like imagine that you want to create the program for the to just maybe have some mathematical operations, and you pass some starting parameters to this program. These program will be these arguments will be used as the importing arguments of this program. So you pass the arguments. We'll talk about the arguments. Don't worry. It's just I hope the most simple answer I can give you to explain what the arguments means. This is just a starting. If this one is the starting point, starting action of our program, then arguments are the starting arguments, starting parameters of our program. Okay. I hope this is understandable for the arguments. Yeah. If you want to run, you can run from run configuration. It can also be done from the console. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but in Eclipse, if you want, you can go to run as, run configurations, and here you can see the arguments. So everything you pass here will be passed to this variable. We'll talk about variables, don't worry. So that's just a simple explanation for this variable. Hope it's if it's not clear for you in the moment, don't worry, we will talk about the syntax, arguments, but for easy understanding, this is the starting point, starting action. We start with this particular method, so everything what is written here will be run in our program. We start from here, and this one is the starting. These are the starting parameters of our program. Hope that the concept of this is clear. Yeah, maybe will not. That's fine if you don't understand details. Don't worry, that's absolutely fine. Just the concept is that these are the starting parameters of our program. And now I will explain about the issue. That was not the error, that was the warning you had. But yeah, the idea is that, as I said, if we go a little bit back to our Java version, as you remember, when we created the project, we provided the Java version, and so maybe I'm not sure if I change different version, maybe I will have the same warning. Maybe just quickly let me check if I select different version, just test project. If I select a different version, yeah, this is, I think this was the same or similar issue you had, yeah? And you had Java-13-Intro. In my case, I have SC11 because I selected 11th version of Java, and not the one I have installed on my computer. I hope this was the question, right? I mean, this was the error you had, Willie. Oh, you had the main one. Okay, this was yeah, that different one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this was different one you had. But in case you have this warning, it means that you created the project with different Java version. As I see, but yeah, we had different version, which I assume is related to the following thing. First of all, please check the problems you have here. They may give you some hints, but in general you need to check the following thing, and this thing is really important. Let me see that. Why am I typing something just before one finishes? Okay, this will be not. No, but really important thing is source. If we not source, but the project in general. So really important thing, and it will take some time for us. Maybe a little bit too long discussion, so maybe let's have this discussion after the break. and then we will talk about the build paths, which are really important in Eclipse. But for now, let's have a 10 minutes break. This will take some time. So before this, let's rest. Okay, we can continue now, and now we will talk about not in this issue but in particular, yeah, maybe just for those who hasn't seen this one. This was what Willia sent yesterday, and she had this issue when she attempted to run the program, and yeah, also as it was mentioned by Willia, that she tested in command line and it worked okay. That's how it should be, yeah. And what's the reason of this issue, and how to fix it? In theory, there may be different reasons, but the first reason and the most likely reason is that your project is not built correctly, or is not built at all normally. Yeah? So first of all, please check the problems log. If you have some issues, you may have the problems noted here. But this how to fix such issue like this? It means that, as it says here, could not find the vault main class. So, as it states, it cannot find the class. It means that it does not see it. Where this setup is done. If this setup done especially for, it's not the setup of the Eclipse, that's the setup of this particular project. Yeah? So this is the setup for this particular project. If you have different projects, you may notice that for some project it works. For some project, you will see such error that the class is not found. That's because of the setup for this particular project. Like in my case, I have it here. I press right click, and I can select properties. Yeah, you can see some different properties, maybe some properties we need for Latvian language. That's just a small remark here, and so if I use UTF-8, yeah, that's just you may need to use. If you use Latvian Garumzīmes, mixed Zīmes, Latvian, you will need to use UTF-8, and it's just small setup. But the general thing is this one, Java build path. Yeah, also I will send you the screenshot, because this place is really important for the projects. Yeah, if something is broken with the building of your project, you may go to this place. So you are here, Java build path, and what you see? First of all, you see the source. You see the source, which actually shows you the source from where to take Java files. Just maybe let me have a backup screenshot. I'll do it for myself. And if I, for example, delete it, why? First, you may notice that it is not marked as it normally should be marked, and if I run it, I see that selection does not contain main type, so I cannot run my program. Why? Because the project, the build path is not set up in project. I think that in this course we will not really talk about class paths. This may be a little bit specific topic, but just one small thing is that if you, like we can see here, we don't have this package, we don't have this class symbol here, because the project does not recognize this setup. Yeah? And if I set it back, I can add my source folder, yeah. And now it's fine. Should have included all. It means that everything from here is included. We should exclude nothing, and everything else seems to be fine. And for now I have this folder back. I can run my program again, and I can see the output. So this is the source. Yeah. So the source is really important. It determines where the files are located and where Java classes to be compiled from. What's the difference between the command line, as we can see here? So this is. I think I closed it. Sorry. This one. As we can see here in our. Can we do it this one? Can't close it anymore. You can see that we don't have binary class here. As you remember, we can do it from here. As you remember in command line, if we do the compilation here, we compile the class here from here, Java-C, Java compiler, my first class, Java. I compile Java file from here, and I see the Java binary class, compiled class. And now I can call this class from here. My first class. I will have the errors here, I guess. One moment. The correct syntax. Yeah. Yeah, and also the build pass. Oh, yeah, sorry, not my first. Sorry, my first class. Java, my first class. Yeah, sorry. Correct name. Sorry, first class. Oh yeah, I just used space. Yeah, my fault. Sorry. It's space sensitive, of course. Yeah. And now I can see that it works fine. Just what I did here, and that's also the point when we are talking about the arguments. As you can see from Eclipse, we pass the arguments using run configurations. The same way, the arguments, if we run it from console, the arguments may be passed this way. So we have our class name, and here we pass the arguments. Again, separated by space. We have the first argument, the second argument. In theory, we may have more arguments. These arguments won't be used in our program, but we can add them here, and we can see the result. The sum of first two arguments is here. So here we can pass the parameters, like if we do it from run configurations here. In console we just pass them after our Java program call. And why we don't have the problem here? Because we have the compiled class. But if we don't compile the class here, we call Java first class, that should not work. Some arguments that won't work because it does not have the class compiled class here. In Eclipse we don't need it. Maybe those of you who are just who not managed to write everything, don't worry, I just shared this code in Discord. So here you can see we don't have the binary, the binary compiled file, because in Eclipse it is done using these files. Class path, to be honest, I don't really remember which of these class. I think not from settings, but from class paths. We edited using Notepad. You may see some setup. We don't really care about it at the moment, but from project file, if you want, you can check it how it looks like. It's not really important for us at the moment, but everything is compiled during the execution, so we don't need to have a separate file to compile the class. And to understand it, we need to have class path. But the class process is just a simple, as you can see here, class path in Java. Yes, if you read some materials about Java, you may heard this. I think we won't have a separate topic about class paths. It will be in the next course, maybe in a longer course of Java. But for now, just to understand, class path is just the folder where the classes are located in. So, and in both paths, it should understand the place where these classes are located. And so first of all, if you have any issues with with running, check source of your Java build path, and it should look this way. In project, you should just find module path, class path, nothing special here. From here, module path is also important. That's our Java Runtime System library. This one, I will also tell you what does it mean. So it should also be here under module path. Order and export, just in case you have issues, you can select them and apply. It should be fine. Under module dependencies, by default you have all the modules you need. You don't really need to go deep what these modules mean, but by default when you create the project you will have them. In some cases you will need to add some new system modules, but we don't need them at the moment. So in case you have some issues with the building of your project, of your classes, like the issues you had, William, that could not find a world main class, it most likely the problem is here. In addition, please check this one. What is written under problems. And sometimes you may have, if you have the issues with Java versions installed on your computer, you may have some problems here. Also, if the version is different, like for example, if you have the project, like if you import it from somewhere or you create it from here, and this project has a different Java version, like 15 for 14 or just any version, and on your computer you have the Java version which is older than the one from your project, then you will have the problem here. It will show you that on your computer you have older version. This will be the error, and you won't be able to build your project here and won't be able to run it. So please be careful with Java versions also. And the last step is this one. Under project, you need to tick build automatically and clean. I think that should be done automatically, but in some cases, just for double check, you can use to tick build automatically. Clean all projects. Now I just have one project. I press clean. This will rebuild my project. Problem is empty. And okay, Lily, then can you show this one, what you have under the source and what you have under Java build path. Yeah, build path also can be accessible from here. I just want to see what do you have here and here. And don't worry, this is not the most funny thing in Java, I mean the setup, but to work with it on your computer you need to have the setup. So that's I'm searching for your screenshot. Oh, this one. Yeah, please open the your project from here, and I want to see what you have here and what you have under here. And yeah, from here you can see that it shows me the place from where the Java is executed. So if you have, if you run your project, your class from here, and you have some outputs on the console, and if you have the path to your Java execution file, then it means that Java is installed correctly. And the last thing, the most important thing here is Java System Library. And this is the core of Java code. Why? Because as you can see, we have some code like system out println, which we did not define, but it's already here and we can use it. So this is also the code. And the question is from where the question may be from where this code comes, and all the like string, system, this are also integer, class, everything comes from system library. Okay? So this is the system library where all the system code is located. So when we'll talk about Java, we will see that there are some built-in functions, built-in codes, built-in classes, which we can use, and the core of them is located on system library. And that's why in some new versions, not in new versions, but in different Java versions, there may be different classes, different codes. That's why this is in order, but yeah, that's what about. Maybe I can show the source, please. So in case you have problems, first check if you have source folder here, if you have system library here. the structure should be this similar. And yeah, so before we move on, one thing I forgot to mention is the errors. If you write the code, you write some code which is not allowed to be used. Test something. It shows the error, and the errors in Eclipse are highlighted using the underlying the wrong part of code in red. And on the right side, you can see the reason of the error of the issue. And you may check what is the reason of the issue. And like in this case, it says that the public type must be defined in its own file. So as I said, only one public class in each file. And that was so. If you have the issue, you may tap the cursor on this issue, or just go to left. You will see what's the reason of this issue, and you can check it out. Okay, and that's about. He has a second project. He has yeah, just for myself to see. Yeah, so you have second project. This one source, yeah, everything seems to be fine here. Yeah, project. I think that everything is fine for you, and you have system library, which is fine as well. So it means that you have everything you have is fine. So yeah, then try again, as I said, try to tick build and to press clean. Build automatically and press clean. This will rebuild your project. That may help also. We have oh yeah, and one more thing, if you have different you may have this issue. So if you go to your class, press run and check run configurations, and in some cases you may see that you have different application you run by default. So in this case, please check if you run main class. Yeah? Like in my case, please, my first class. In your case, it's main class. If you run it, so please go run configurations and check if you have this particular class from your project. That's also important. By default, it may have some discrepancies here. So please check if you run this particular application from the correct project, correct class. Yeah, okay, please try to do these changes. Just if it's unsuccessful, let me know. For now, we can move on about this. I hope that if there are any questions, please let me know. We can answer. We'll talk about some different libraries here. A little bit later. So yeah, for now we can have 35 minutes. We can move to some theory part. Presentation. So something will be from the content we already gone through. So just maybe repeat a little bit just from my previous experience, and I like to use this layout more. notes here. So yeah, let's hope that's fine. This layout is fine for you. So yeah, now we already had some, not some, but the base of the discussions about Java, and now we have a presentation. What is Java? From here we will check what is programming, why Java, why we chose Java programming language, why it is important, why it is modern, why to learn Java, and so on. Yeah, then we already had discussions about Java machine, Java environment, Java development kit, also 6-month summary about we start what is programming. I think that it's fine. What is programming? The set of instructions to do algorithms and operations with computers. So basically in using text or using any different sources, it depends again where you program, when you do the programming, in which programming language, in which source, in which environment. The idea is that you set the commands for the computer to do. Yeah? Just the most important thing here is term, hope that everyone knows this term, algorithm. So we have algorithm, which is the sequence of actions to reach the result. And in programming, our main goal is to write down all these steps for computer to do, like go there, check this, read this, get this, sum this, extract this, import this, and so on and so on. And at the end we want to have the result using the commands we just provided to computer. And so this is what programming is. And the programming language, that's basically the language is as the language is in real life, and it's English, Latin, Russian, and so on and so on. That's the language, how we communicate with each other, how we ask each other to do something. The same as here, we ask computer to do something. Of course, computer does not understand if we type something in English, like do this, do that, and so on. But computer does understand if we type some code, some code in some programming language, like here in Java. And here we ask computer to print out the sum of the first argument with the second argument we provided to them, to the program. Yeah? So this is also the algorithm where we sum two variables. Yeah, this is about programming language. Actually this is the language for computer to understand what we want from the computer. Source code, as it states here, the list with commands to be converted, compiled into running program. So this is the source code. Just maybe the most obvious way to show it is to have it in Notepad. So this is the source code. So the source is we type some code here. Again, it doesn't matter if we use Notepad, if we use Eclipse. If we use different source. So basically this, at the end, we just create the source code. And this is called source code, the code we write. As I said on Monday, there are 3 stages. You have source code, you type something, then you compile the code, as it states here, you compile the code. So it means that you compilation means that you translate the source code to the, as it says here, bytecode, and then this bytecode is executed by computer. Why the compilation is needed? Because unfortunately, computer does not understand what. Not only if you just type something in English, or just please do that, of course, computer will not understand. Unfortunately, in fact, computer does not understand if you pass something like this to it. Yeah. Because computer will not understand what do you mean by all these things here, because these are just the symbols. Yeah. These are just the symbols. Computer does not understand them, of course. But to get something, to make the computer to understand what is mentioned here, you need this one. So you have strict syntax here. We have syntax in Java with all the actions, and then using this syntax will be translated to bytecode, converted to bytecode. And using the bytecode, computer does understand what you need, what you want from it to be done. Yeah. And yeah, the one string interpreter, the conversion from the bytecode to QF 0 and 1, for example, and you have this code here. This is basically what is read from Python. It's just small introduction for you to understand the programming. The main purpose of programming is to write a set of algorithms in the source code. So we write source code. We don't write bytecode, of course. That would be the suicide for us. No one likes to deal with these bytes, and I'm not sure if someone does really understand the syntax of bytes, but we write the algorithms in source code, and we have the output of this source code. Alright, so programming in Java, also has the programming in other programming languages. We use Java programming language syntax. So we use Java syntax. Every programming language, Java, PHP, C++, and so on, Python, and so on, has its own syntax. And why the syntax is needed? Syntax is needed so the compiler can translate what you need from computer to the bytecode. And that's why we need syntax to make these commands clear and correct. Otherwise, computer will not understand what we want from it. And the stages in Java, as I said, there are 4 stages. Just maybe again the simple stages: write source code, compile the source code, and at the end we'll interpret this code and execute. So this is the step done by us, and at the end we execute the program. Alright, how to program in Java? Nice question. Again, we start with Java file. It doesn't matter if you use any environment, development environment, integrated development environment, or you do it manually. Everything starts with Java file. So as I said, to have Java code, you need to create a Java file. So this is just a simple file. Every file you can imagine. You create it and you type extension.java at the end. So you have this Java file. The next step is to compile it. It compiles to class file. And as we've seen here using command line, we use Java-C command, which is Java compiler. It compiles the class, and yeah, now we have compiled class which can be run by Java virtual machine. And Java virtual machine just does all the stuff to be done before the execution of the file. So it prepares the file to be executed, to just make all the things clear and correct, and at the end it executes the binary string. Maybe it's not very clear for you what the string means, don't worry. It's just overall explanation of the Java, how Java works. Alright, these are the 4 stages. I call that these stages, I mean for the first stage and second stage, and maybe you cannot really, maybe you don't understand the difference between these two things, but don't worry, you don't really need to do it. Just 3 really important parts: source code, compiler, Java class file, and you can run this Java class file. That's it. In Eclipse, again, it is done automatically. You just need to create source code, and everything will be done automatically. Of course, you need to set up Java build path, otherwise, if the building cannot be done, then nothing can be done. Yeah, some small comments about Java virtual machine. The feature of Java and the key advantage of Java is that Java is a platform independent language. So it means that you don't need to have a specific platform. Just write the code on your computer, compile it, and it can be executed everywhere. You just need to have Java virtual machine. What is Java virtual machine is? That's an abstract virtual machine which provides Java bytecode execution in any computer operating system. So yeah, that's the virtual machine which allows us to execute Java code. And as an example, if we develop the code in Windows, we can easily run it in Linux or Mac, just imagine under any other programming language. It's the same. Yeah? The key here is that Java is the same for all the platforms. Yeah? We don't really need to care about where we create this our Java program. It will work everywhere. Then maybe for you it's not really clear what's the difference between Java Runtime environment and Java Development Kit. We faced both these terms already. There are 2 differences. As it stands from Java Development Kit, it obviously is used for the development, and Java Runtime environment to run Java code. So as it stands here, it provides basic Java libraries to run the applications, the programs written in Java. So you do not develop anything here. Just you have Java class, you run it, you are happy, you run the program, you don't change anything. But if you want to develop something, you need to have Java Development Kit. It also includes obviously Java Runtime environment, because you cannot really develop if you cannot execute. Yeah. So I think that's obviously that you cannot develop without the execution of what you develop. It doesn't make sense. Just if you develop something, of course you want to test it, you want to check how it works, and that's why, of course, obviously Java Runtime environment is a part of Java Development Kit. Yeah, that's clear. So at the top we have Java, at the top, let's go to the top, we have Java Development Kit, which includes Java Runtime environment as well. And if we want to develop something in Java, then we need to have Java Development Kit, because using Java Development Kit we compile the source code, and as the result we have the program which can be executed. And the program which can be executed is executed using Java Runtime environment. In Java Runtime environment we don't need, and we don't need. We may have, but we don't need Java source code. Source code is not needed for Java Runtime environment. For Java development, of course, to develop something we need source code. And some key things about Java programming language. As I said, platform independent, create on Mac, execute on any other system, create on Windows, execute on any other system, and so on and so on. It's platform independent. I hope it's clear here. Don't need to care about the platform on which this Java code will be executed. It's object-oriented. What does it mean? We'll talk later a little bit. This is a huge topic in programming itself, not only in Java, in other programming languages, but Java is very object-oriented. In case you maybe at the moment you don't understand what object-oriented programming means, those who as I remember from Monday's session, some of you work on C++. C++ is also object-oriented language, but it's not as object-oriented as Java, and you will see why it is called object-oriented. Java is maybe most object-oriented programming language in the world. We'll talk about some object-oriented things. It's really important feature of Java. And it's one of the most popular programming language, obviously. In internet you'll find so many different statistics. These charts may be absolutely different, but you'll definitely see Java somewhere at the top. It is used in lots of places. And the latest version is Java-13. Just recently downloaded it. And here you can see first program in Java. We already had our own program. In case we want more, we can execute. We can create another program, and it's not the problem. The problem, maybe we can, if we want, we can create it using console again. No, let's not create it in console, as we won't really use it in future. That was just to show you that we can execute from console. And if you when do you need console, and when will you need the console? Maybe not in our course, maybe in general. If you have just simple code and you don't want to open Eclipse, because again you can see, just if we press Ctrl Alt Delete, if we go to Task Manager, you'll see how that Eclipse takes not a lot, but some space. And if you don't if you have a small program, you don't want to run Eclipse, you can easily run command line and run the code from here, from command line. Yeah. But maybe in our course, let's just stick with Eclipse, and as it stays here, let's create a class hello world again. We will not talk about packages at the moment, but we can just simply copy paste code from here. You can also see the comments. We will have some different discussions about the comments, but you can use slashes. Yeah, also, yes, really good to remember. As I said, I will mention some shortcuts I use. So another shortcut I use is Control slash. Also the shortcut I use. That means I comment for Control slash comment. So add comment code like it. Yeah. So if you comment, if you highlight the code, you type control slash, the code will be commented. It means that during the execution, this code will not be considered as the part of your. It will be ignored. Yeah. If you comment the code, it will be ignored during the execution of the program, and it will not affect the program you have. Just for the source code to understand what happens here. And also if you want comment, the same comment, the same comment for comment, and the same comment for comment. And here I can run, and you can see hello world in Java. This is the way how we can create. The program. And two more slides here. How to compile. We already gone through these topics. This topic, how to compile, we can use text editor, and we can compile using the command line, using Java-C, Java compiler. And the result we will have compiled class, Java class, and we can run this class. Yeah, we already had these examples. Just maybe let's not repeat them. And using integrated development environment, Java, Visual Code Studio, Eclipse, as I said, all the environments you can use, you're welcome to use them. Just need to create Java project, need to create new Java class, write code, press run. This will compile and run your program automatically. And one more thing I haven't mentioned. Again, if you open command line, then if you go to here, you can also it is not mentioned in the presentation, but if you run Java Java, you see that it compiles the class automatically. Yeah? So as you can see, we don't. If we run Java-C, it compiles a new file to us. Yeah? But if we run Java, again, as you remember, previously we had two steps. First step is to compile Java-C. We compiled the Java class from source code to bytecode. Here, so the first is Java-C, compile the class, we provide the class name. The second is Java, we provide the class, but we don't provide the extension .java. Right? In this case, the difference is we provide the extension. If we provide the extension, it will compile our program, our class automatically. If we skip this, it will not work because there's no compiled class hello world. But if we type hello world and we type the extension Java, this will compile our class automatically. Alright, and there were some questions, of course. You're welcome to ask the questions. Maybe one last thing for today, and we will successfully manage to talk about all the things I prepared to talk. The last thing is class path. Class path, we already had this build path. Talk about build path in Eclipse. Just a moment, Java. And the last thing is class path. Yeah, let's just do this thing. This simple thing. I'll have 5 minutes. Manage to do it. Let's create two folders. Folder 1 and folder 2. So we have two folders. And let me just quickly copy my program from here. My first class. So I have my first class here, and maybe let's simple hello world 1, and it's the same we will have on here, but to distinguish which program is executed, I will say hello world 2. So yeah, it should be simple. We go to this directory, copy address, cut right now. So let's compile the class here. Java-C. Let's compile. And it's the same for this folder as well. Let's compile it here as well. So change the directory. So we can see that there's the same class here. I compile it here, and now I have two folders. Just easily, if I run it from here, Java first class. Space are important. Java2. If I change the folder to this one, and I run the same, I have hello one. So the concept here is, I hope it's clear. Yeah? If we run from folder 1, we run this one. If we run from folder 2, we run this class. Yeah? But what can be additionally set up here? There is such thing like class path, and the class path is the path which which allows Java to understand the path to the from where to execute the Java class. So as we can see here, we are still on folder 1. Copy this one. We are still in this folder. So currently the command line is located on this folder. But if we set class path to this guy, and I execute Java class from here, that's the point. That's the point. You can see that now the class is hello world is executed from folder 2. This is what we set up. I will just so you can. So if you want, you can export this by yourself. I just shared it in Discord. Share this console in Discord, and you can check it after we finish the session. The idea is that we have 2 folders, and by default, the file is executed from the folder we are currently located in. And if we are in folder 1, the first class will be executed from folder 1. If we are in folder 2, by default it will be executed from folder 2. But we have such parameter like class path, and we use set. We provide class path, and we provide the location, the path to the folder from which Java will search the class. And here we provide that please search the classes from folder 2. And we set it here. Then we run first. We ask Java, please run as my first class. Java searches for my first class in class path, this guy, and despite the fact that we are currently in folder 1, it will search from the place provided in class path. If we set the class path to folder 1, and after that we execute my first class, again we can see that we are back to folder 1. And then if we set folder 2, this will execute us from folder 2. And one last thing for today is that imagine if we create another file, my class 2, and we compile this. My class 2. We compile the. One more thing. My class 2. Also, as I said, we need to have the same public console. Just a moment. We compile. File is compiled, and again remember we are. Maybe you can do it one more time. It doesn't really matter. We just set up that we want to search from folder 2. But we run this class, and it will it will not find. It will not find my class 2 because we are on this class path set up folder 2. Yeah. And yeah, the last question, and then we'll finish. What is the purpose of this process? I just want to show you that we have such thing like class pass. Yeah, this is what I want to just show here. That we have this thing like class pass, and it may be set up. If it is set, then it means that Java will search the classes from the folders provided in ClassPass. That's the purpose of this process. Yeah. The way ClassPass may be set up may be different in different environments. That's why this may be really important. Yeah, we will not really care about this in our case, because we will not have this complicated things, but for you just to understand that ClassPass may be set up differently. Okay, for now that's it. In case you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. I will try to answer, or maybe we'll discuss them on Friday. For now, I see we have again a little bit more than 2 minutes past our schedule. I'm again so sorry. I'll try to finish before our schedule is finished. For now, thank you for your attention today. Again,